Fiction, science fiction, horror, fantasy, crime, LGBT, thriller.
You have now entered the House of Mystery.
Welcome back into the House of Mystery. I'm Al Warren. Got Mr. Joe Goldberg here.
I'm in the house.
You're in the house.
Moniker. You didn't define me. Thanks.
No. Let the public do that.
That's right. They probably already have an opinion after all these shows we've done.
Yeah, they already know who you are.
Yeah. I'd have a low opinion of me too. So
yeah, they already
stand
know.
in line, everybody.
Stand in line. Send them an email. Make them feel loved.
Yeah.
How's that?
I need some.
Yeah, there you go.
Just like the world needs love. That's why Peter's here, right?
Yeah, it looks that way. He has got a book that came out here, or let's see, September 9th, so it's only a month old. It's called 100 Years to Extinction, and it's the tyranny of technology and the fight for the better future. There you go. I'm getting it right. So Peter Solomon, thank you for being here.
It's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Peter, so where did this book come from for you? Like, what made you sit down and go, I'm going to write this book? Was there something that happened or an idea that came to you? Like, where did this come from?
Well, I have been a scientist, technologist, and educator, an author of lots of scientific publications. That's been my career. And of late, I've sort of been looking back and thinking about all these incredible technologies, all this incredible science that we have created over the last 200 years. We started out in the 1800s with fossil fuel technology that keeps us warm and helps drive our cars and provides us with electricity. And then in the 20th century, we created nuclear technology that has given us nuclear medicine and electricity generation. And then in the last 30 years, the internet, information at the touch of our fingertips, AI that helps us organize that information in an incredibly rapid fashion, and genetic engineering that, for example, helped create the vaccine for COVID-19 in record time. And I love those technologies, yet I have been worrying in the last few years about the downsides. We know about the downsides of fossil fuels. That's global warming. And nuclear technology, we've got 13,000 nuclear weapons all over the world in 9 countries. And some of those weapons have a destruction radius of 150 miles. And then the internet, with information at our fingertips, also is providing lies and access to terrorists and deepfakes. And then we have AI, where we're warned by the experts. A survey of experts came out with the result that 50% of them believed there was a 10% chance for AI wiping out humanity. And then genetic engineering with the potential for creating bioweapons and superhumanoid species. So each of those wonderful technologies has downsides. That is what I call the tyranny of technology. And I realized that the worries that I had about those downsides mirrored the statements made by Stephen Hawking, astrophysicist Stephen Hawking, who made the dire prediction that humans would be extinct on planet Earth in 100 years. So that became the title of my book. And the 100 years is this point in time that becomes a rallying cry to try to get humanity, and especially young people, to look at these threats and start doing something to mitigate them. And that's what the book is all about, to try to get young people on board to rally to make Earth great again.
Well, when you take this, but when you talk about this and you talk about like the technology and how it created the vaccine really quick for COVID and all the other things, with all this technology, we're really kind of fighting misinformation, disinformation. There's a lot of people out there saying complete opposite, that we've never been on the moon and all this stuff. And the thing is, there's always been that in the core of humanity, but there's a large group of people doing this now, following it. It seems to be a rather big group of people. As a scientist, what do you think about that, or how do you handle that?
Well, that is the internet and social media threat. The internet that gave us all this information at our fingertips is also allowing these groups to form. Somebody has a crazy idea and puts it out there, and turns out people like crazy ideas. You look at what's on television, it's all murder and mayhem and hospital emergencies. Those are the things that excite people. So you get somebody like an Alex Jones, the internet, telling people that Sandy Hook was fake, designed to get gun legislation through. And you get people that, they love conspiracies and they love weird stories, and he had millions of followers. So that is a very, very real danger that we have, and we really are now living in a post-truth society, and we have to do something about it. The book does consider this issue. There's a chapter on it, and one of the young protagonists, Elizabeth, comes up with the idea that we need to have warnings on the internet of fake news, of lies. We need to have a panel made up of respected people from universities who look at these assertions and judge them to be true, mostly true, unknown, false, or mostly false. And if there is a false or mostly false recommendation from the committee, that label has to go onto that assertion on the internet, like the warning labels on cigarettes or the warning labels on drugs. So, yes, there's a threat, and the book has its own idea of how to treat that threat.
Hey, Peter, it's just for the sake of full disclosure, I teach social media misinformation, some AI stuff at a local college outside Chicago. In fact, I just gave a presentation on AI and misinformation 2 days ago. Some people are asking about the ideas of what you're saying, and I was saying we need to treat social media / AI like we treated nuclear war. It is a United Nations level type of problem. I was wondering if you have it up there, because it's listed as number one in the World Economic Forum guys as the biggest problem besides global warming going forward. So I was wondering, how do you rank them that way, or what do you rank them that way?
Well, I think AI is probably a higher risk than lies on the internet, but absolutely it is a world-class problem, and it needs a world-class attention. So yes, the United Nations attacking a problem like this, I think it'd be very, very good. And all of these problems are worldwide. Not any one of them is just a United States problem. They're all worldwide, and that is why we need a worldwide movement. That is why the slogan that I have in the book, "Make Earth Great Again," is a message for young people all over the world to grab onto these issues and to rally for their mitigation. I'd like young people to join the organizations that are devoted to many of these threats, but get the organizations to adopt the Make Earth Great Again concept and expand their message from climate change to AI, to truth on the internet. Let's let those organizations expand the message and collaborate with other organizations to really try to start a worldwide movement to make Earth great again.
So how did you fictionalize this big, hairy, deep issues so that the young adult market can grasp them and get involved? What was your means to do that?
Well, the means is a story of three young protagonists. They're all Gen Z. There's Liz, who starts out at 21 in the book, her younger sister, and her cousin Milo, who was her age. Liz gets shot. She is an EMT, and she's called out on a heart attack case. Well, the heart attack case was a ruse. She gets to the house in her ambulance, gets out of the ambulance, and is shot by an anti-vax crusader. So that is the tipping point for this group of three young people. So the idea of messaging young readers and old readers as well is how these three young people find these technology issues and what they do to address them. That is the way the book is constructed. That is the way these issues are presented to young readers, and they're presented with solutions. I also have a website called 100 years to extinction.com. That is 100 years to extinction.com. And that has a treatment of all of these technology threats and has suggested solutions to those threats. So young people can go there. There is also a music tab. So for fun, people can go to the music tab on that website and click on Turn the Tide and hear and see a music video that was created by AI to warn us about AI.
So these characters you've done, how did you develop them yourself as three young Gen Zs? Because you're not exactly a Gen Z. So did you base them on people, or did you how do you form a fictional character?
Well, that is where being a grandfather of 12 is a great advantage to an author that is trying to create young characters. I have Milo, for example. One of his catchphrases is awesome. Another one of his catchphrases is there you go. So I mimicked my grandson in Milo with the catchphrases and the kinds of things that he loves to do, and actually the college he's going to. I have my young granddaughter who is an EMT, and so Liz is an EMT in the book, and her younger sister, who she fights with all the time, is also character Aster that is in the book, and so it was really easy to create characters. They're not carbon copies of the grandkids, but the grandkids certainly have provided incredible inspiration for creating young characters in a fictional story.
Well, so, it's interesting that you can take a fictional story and come up with it. Did you so you came up with the idea of the book first before the fictional story, right?
Came up with it as a fictional story.
Okay.
I wrote 2 books to teach science to middle school children. And my concept is that there's so many wonderful, wonderful stories of science. If you put it in a story, you're going to be able to get non-tech kids to understand the story and interest them in science. So the first book was called The Stardust Mystery. And the mystery is you are made of stardust that was once in the body of Albert Einstein and the last T-Rex. And the book is all about fictional kids in a contest where their objective is to figure out what stardust is, how in the world stardust got into me that was once an Albert Einstein and a T-Rex. So present a kid with a mystery like that, and you can engage non-scientist kids, and when they read the book, they're going to learn a heck of a lot of science.
So, Peter, you put the books out, and you have the new book. I know it's brand new, but I was just wondering if you have any inkling of how your movement is being received so far through the book, and any comments.
No inkling so far. We've had some promotional movements, promotional campaigns, and my PR people and my publisher has said that the campaigns are actually getting attention somewhat better than the norm. I've been doing these interviews, and the interviews produce quite a lot of traffic on the 100yearstoextinction.com website. So maybe we're getting some traction. Only time will tell. And the idea is just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it.
So now, so when someone reads the book, there's the story, but the real important thing is probably what you're trying to get across is to take action, to people, especially get into the young person's brain and kind of let them know that things have got to be done, right? That's kind of the ultimate goal.
Absolutely, absolutely. The idea is to link across national boundaries, connect with people worldwide, join or support organizations that are devoted to these threats, try to rally your governments to address the threats, and try to form an Earthling tribe that supports a Make Earth Great Again movement. That's what I want to do. I want to try to create a worldwide Make Earth Great Again movement. And the only way it's going to happen is if young people join in a movement like young people did in the 1960s for the anti-Vietnam movement and for the civil rights movement. Lots and lots of young people came together and said, this is important to us. We want to get this done. And that kind of a movement really helped to get those things passed.
You may be onto something because, like I say, I teach this stuff, and I'm beginning to see an anti-social media bias in my college students. Because it's breaking up. And so I was wondering, how do you, at that age, because it's different than the 8-year-olds who are tasting it for the first time and have their phone, how do you motivate the different strata? Because there's some people, it's indispensable, right? Why are you saying social media is bad and it's going to lead to all these bad things? It's my life. I live there. So I'm trying to figure out, how do you, across that spectrum, make that change?
Well, I don't think we can convince everyone that the internet and social media is bad. And we can't convince them that AI is bad. All of these technologies have wonderful, wonderful things that allow us to get information, connect to other people instantly, help organize our thoughts, help write papers. The technologies are wonderful. What we have to do is to address the downsides, and that needs to be done with something like this concept that I presented of the messages that have to be attached like warning labels. We've got to keep the good and try to mitigate the bad.
Pretty interesting. So has this, doing this book, has this, in this process, has this kind of, have you learned things you didn't know? Like, was it a challenge? Like, did you come out of it with a different perspective than you had when you started the book?
I think the overall perspective hasn't changed, but I certainly learned some things. For example, the book follows Stephen Hawking's admonition to settle a new planet. If we're going to save humanity will be extinct on Earth in 100 years, we better settle a new planet. We need to become a multi-planet species. So the book has in it a settlement of Mars. Aster, the youngest, and her older sister join in on planning that movement. I learned some interesting things. For example, how do you take all of Earth's civilization's creative genius to another planet? How do you take it on a spaceship? If you put everything in the whole humanity archive into 1 terabyte hard drives, you'd fill up something like 28 Empire State Buildings with hard drives. Can't take that to Mars. So I learned about DNA databases. That's a real thing. You could actually put the whole of the humanity archive into a softball-sized package, and that's easy to take to Mars. So that was one of the things I learned, and that was kind of cool. I also investigated fusion technology, where the only way we're going to get to a planet on another star is with fusion technology. That could get us there in less than 100 years. So I learned about what's going on at Lawrence Livermore Laboratory, where they have actually gotten energy above the energy that they have put into the lasers to create the fusion. So, yes, along the way, I learned a lot of stuff, and I learned that it would take something like 70 years to get to our nearest star with fusion technology. So it's been a lot of fun to write this book and learn things along the way.
That's fascinating. So now, you said, so it's out now and you're promoting it and getting out there, but you've already started on a sequel, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Wow. So what happens?
Yeah. How's it end? Does the world live?
Well, we're still in the region, the time period before the 100 years, and the world is still existing. What happened is, on my website, I have a newsletter. I started writing the September newsletter on the AI singularity. That is a point in time that has been talked about in 2 books by Ray Kurzweil. It's the point in time at which artificial intelligence becomes equally intelligent and equally powerful to human intelligence and power. And the question is, what happens after that point? Do we become slaves to the robots? Do they let us live? Can we work in harmony? And that idea, and the idea that my characters would be living through that period, became so powerful, I stopped writing the newsletter and started writing the sequel. That was in September. Well, it took 2 years to write 100 Years to Extinction. The new book, 12 Years to AI Singularity, is now 70% complete in terms of the number of words written. So it is dominating my life. I feel like I'm on a treadmill, but it's a very exciting treadmill.
Yeah, sounds pretty good. So listen, let's give out your information. So you have a website, you have social media. Where do people find Peter?
Go to 100yearstoextinction.com. That is 100yearstoextinction.com. That website has links to all of my social media. It has links to the music video that we produced. It has links to information all about me, and where you can. Has links to Amazon and Barnes and Noble to buy the book if you'd like. So that's the place to go if you want to get more information. 100yearstoextinction.com. Learn all about the movement, learn what you could do, and hopefully become part of a Make Earth Great Again movement.
Well, fantastic. Now, of course, we'll have your links up as well as your book, and we're also going to be sharing your video that you've got out for people, and we appreciate you coming on the show. So everyone, the book, 100 Years to Extinction, and it's the tyranny of technology and the fight for a better future. Peter Solomon, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. It's been a real pleasure.
Very interesting. Thank you. Thanks for writing it.
This has been a production of the House of Mystery Radio Show. To find out more about our show, guests, or hosts, go to our website at houseofmysteryradio.com.